Welcome back to another one. We're going to do something different. So as you can see, it's a skull instead of a dice mold. We're doing a skull. And to make it even better, the skull is going to glow in the dark. Glow the dark skull. So which color? Let's go with something light. So light greenish should work. Where is it? Is that? Nope. Okay, here it is. Let's use this. Time for the safety equipment. As always, make sure to be wearing nitrile safety gloves when handling resin, and make sure to have a mask ready for fumes. I have an M7502 mask for this. Okay, let's start pouring. Okay, now to pour the A side to match. And now that everything's poured up, it's time to combine the two and start mixing. For mixing, I will be using a mixing tool instead of a popsicle stick. It just mixes a lot more easily and more evenly, with less bubbles. Well, it's an all-around a good investment for resin. During mixing, the mixture will go cloudy and then back to clear. Once it's returned to being clear, it will be ready to have its color added in. Or pour if you want a clear coat. Now that everything's mixed, we are going to begin preparing the molds. I am going to be flattening the resin. To flatten it, all you want to do is pour it into a thin dish, like these coaster molds I have. The main purpose for this is to decrease the distance the air bubbles have to travel to reach the surface. A little spray of isopropyl into the resin, as well as a spray on each of the molds. Let's start making this resin glow. Using a popsicle stick, I'm going to scoop up some of my glow-in-the-dark powder and just dump it into the resin. I'm going to thoroughly mix this coloring pigment into the resin, and hopefully I'll have a glow-in-the-dark resin when this is done. A light green glowing look should be the classical or the classic look for glow in the dark. So hopefully this turns out to be exactly as I hope. Maybe. I really hope it does. It will. Of course it will. Unless CJ messes everything up. Okay, it's time to flatten the resin, so we're going to pour it into these little molds, spray them with isopropyl, and let them sit for around 10 to 20 minutes, just to be sure that most, if not all, the bubbles are away. Let's spray the skull mold with my isopropyl and begin emptying the little trays into the skull mold. Alright, I'll come back to this after around 12-ish hours to see how well it glows. I was holding it up to the light for 30 seconds, and let's see what it looks like with the light off. Oh yeah. New day, new plans. The plans are now to make a dice set that glows as well, and to finish up and to fill up the rest of the skull mold with orange. Time for the A side, and have a listen to this. Pretty straightforward, just dump the resin or dump the B side into the A side and use a popsicle stick of some sort to scrape out the excess. Okay, I want this to be extra orange, so we're going to get quite a bit of orange coloring into here using my palette knife. 1 and 2. That seems to be quite a bit of orange coloring, so let's mix it together. Okay, all we have to do is flatten it and pour it into the molds. Just like last time, I let it sit for about 10 to 20 minutes before bringing around the dice mold and pouring them in. Let it sit until tomorrow, and hopefully we have a good result on our hands. Alright, let's see how they turned out. Get rid of these and check it out. Everything looks fine, on the surface at least. But which one to demold first? Since I'm making dice, let's roll for it. And it's a 5. That's an odd, so we're going to unbox the skull first. So far it looks good, although I can see a lot of air bubbles in the eyes and nose, which does kind of suck, but that was all my old bad resin that had the cap broken, so it's not that surprising. Let's open up the dice mold. Like a bandage, let's just rip this off quick. Alright, there's a few, that's for sure. But I didn't put any resin on the lid, so I can see why there's quite a bit more than normal. As well as several voids that would have been filled in if there was resin on the lid. But other than that, it's not that bad. So let's remove this flashing and have a look at what they look like. Yeah, they look alright. It's just the one side on most of them. Well, apart from a few voids, they seem pretty fine. So let's ink them up. To ink the dice, all I'm going to be doing is covering the number with acrylic paint and then wiping away the excess. Let's time lapse the rest of this and then cut to when they're all finished. Okay, now that the inking is finished, all that's left to do is see how well they glow. They glow quite nicely. All around, it was a success. Thanks for watching. Almost forgot about the skull. It's good too. Bye.